The research outpost on the edge of the Zirali star system was quiet that night, quieter than usual. The hum of the energy core was the only sound breaking the stillness. Outside, the frozen plains stretched endlessly, glowing faintly under the light of distant stars. Dr. Ilara Vance leaned over the console, reviewing the daily data streams. Her eyes were sharp, trained to spot anomalies, but tonight something felt different. She had been alone for most of her shift, the other crew members resting or performing maintenance. The base was isolated, built for long-term research on a recently discovered alien energy source. Humans had always been explorers, and this place was no exception. Even in the emptiness of space, they found ways to thrive. A soft movement caught Ilara's attention. She froze, listening. At first, she thought it was the wind outside the reinforced walls, but the movement had a rhythm, a careful step. Someone, or something, was inside the outpost. She reached for her sidearm, though she hoped she wouldn't need it. Her training told her to stay calm, to assess before reacting. The base's sensors were silent, which was odd. Whoever it was, they moved quietly, like they didn't want to be seen. Then she saw it, a shadow slipping through the hallway. Ilara's heart beat faster, but she did not panic. Humans had faced worse, she reminded herself. She moved slowly, keeping her hands visible. The shadow paused near the main lab, then turned. A figure emerged. Not threatening. Small, slender, humanoid, with clothing that shimmered faintly in the dim light. Ilara stepped forward. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice steady. The figure tilted its head as if studying her. Then it spoke in clear, careful English. "I mean no harm," it said. Its voice was soft, but confident. "I am stranded. I need help with the equipment." Ilara blinked. This was unexpected. An alien, alone, entering her base silently. Yet it spoke fluently. Only a species that had learned human patterns, or maybe they had studied transmissions, would communicate so clearly. "Equipment?" she asked cautiously. "This is a secure research station. You can't just come in." "I know," the figure said, stepping closer. "But I need your help. My technology does not work here, and I cannot leave without it." Ilara studied the alien. Its features were sharp, elegant, almost fragile, but its eyes shone with intelligence. Humans had always faced the unknown with curiosity. That was part of what made them special, she thought. And now she faced a living example. "Show me," she said finally, motioning toward the console. The alien approached calmly, scanning the panels with careful precision. Its fingers moved over the human devices, not in the way of someone unfamiliar, but as if trying to understand a language it had never learned. Ilara watched. She had to admit, its methodical approach reminded her of human engineers, though not quite. It was alien, yet clever. That combination, an intelligent outsider trying to adapt, was fascinating. Humans had always respected intelligence, even if it wasn't their own. "Why here?" Ilara asked. "Why our station?" "My ship failed. Near this system," the alien explained. "I followed the readings from your energy source. It is compatible in part with my systems. Alone, I cannot survive the storms outside." Outside, the winds howled against the reinforced walls. Zirali's climate was unpredictable, and one wrong step could mean death. Humans had survived there by building strong shelters and learning to adapt. It seemed this alien hadn't had that advantage. Ilara nodded slowly. Humans were resourceful, and right now that resourcefulness would be tested. "Stay here," she said, moving toward the storage bay. "We'll need tools, energy converters, and a plan. We can't risk damaging the station." The alien followed silently, observing everything. It did not panic. It did not complain. There was a calm intelligence in its behavior that reminded Ilara of what she had always believed about humans. Courage was not just action, it was control, patience, and clarity under pressure. In the storage bay, Ilara gathered the necessary equipment. The alien watched every movement, absorbing information like a sponge. Ilara felt a strange sense of trust forming. Perhaps this visitor, despite being unknown, could be an ally. Humans had a way of recognizing potential where others might see risk. Back at the main lab, they worked side by side. The alien handed her components, pointing out inefficiencies in the human design that even she hadn't noticed. Together, they adjusted circuits and reconfigured the energy interface. Hours passed, but neither showed fatigue. Outside, the storm intensified, lightning flickering across the frozen plains. Inside, the lab was warm with the glow of energy cores and quiet concentration. Finally, the alien stepped back and examined the results. The device hummed steadily, stable, and efficient. "It works," Ilara said, relief in her voice. "I didn't think it would." The alien nodded, a small gesture of gratitude. "You humans, you adapt quickly. I expected more difficulty." Ilara smiled faintly. Humans had always been underestimated by other species. They relied on ingenuity, creativity, and calm in situations that would make others panic. That was why humans thrived even in the far reaches of space. The alien turned to leave but paused at the doorway. "I will need guidance if I am to survive until rescue. I hope I can trust you further." "You can," Ilara said firmly. "We'll get through this, together." As the storm raged outside, humans and aliens worked side by side in quiet cooperation. The outpost, silent and isolated, had become a place of learning, understanding, and unexpected friendship. And Ilara knew that this was only the beginning of something much greater, a test not just of technology, but of human courage, ingenuity, and spirit. The night stretched on, but for the first time, Ilara felt a quiet excitement. The universe had thrown the unknown at her, and humans had answered, calm, clever, and unafraid. Morning light filtered through the reinforced windows of the outpost, casting soft patterns across the lab floor. The storm outside had lessened, though the frozen plains still shimmered under a pale alien sun. Dr. Ilara Vance was already at the console, reviewing the overnight data. Beside her, the alien observer, who had introduced itself as Leora, sat, calmly, eyes scanning the human displays. "Your systems are different from what I expected," Leora said quietly. "They are simple yet effective. Efficient. Elegant." Ilara smiled. Humans had always prided themselves on turning simplicity into power. They didn't rely solely on raw strength or advanced technology. They adapted, they improvised, and they solved problems others thought impossible. That was one of the reasons humans survived where other species might fail. "Simple doesn't mean weak," Ilara replied. "It means flexible. And out here, flexibility is survival." Leora nodded, clearly impressed. Its gaze lingered on the console as it studied the patterns of the energy source. "I need to understand it fully. Alone, I cannot adjust my systems to match yours. If I fail, I will be stranded." Ilara paused. Humans were explorers, problem solvers, negotiators. And now, she faced a situation where their abilities could save not just themselves, but someone else. She felt a quiet surge of determination. "Then we'll do it together," she said. "Step by step. I'll show you the systems, and you can tell me what your technology requires. Between us, we can make it work." For hours they worked. Ilara explained the basic principles: the energy converters, the stabilization circuits, and the safety protocols. Leora asked questions, sometimes obvious ones, sometimes remarkably sharp. Its questions revealed an intelligence both alien and logical, a mind capable of seeing patterns humans might overlook. "You humans," Leora said finally, pausing mid-calculation. "You observe carefully, but you do not panic. Even when the storm was at its worst, you stayed calm." "I expected more chaos." Ilara chuckled softly. "Chaos doesn't solve problems. Focus does. Humans survive because we act calmly under pressure, not because we're stronger or faster than others." The alien tilted its head considering this. It made notes on a small holographic pad, trying to reconcile the human approach with its own instinctive methods. For Leora, logic was linear, precise, often inflexible. Humans were different. They adapted in ways the alien had not seen before. "Show me more," Leora said. "Your energy grids, the storage units, the output mechanisms. I need the full picture." Alara led the way to the storage and control rooms, explaining each system in detail. The alien moved with quiet efficiency, touching the panels lightly, never rushing, never careless. Alara was impressed. This was intelligence meeting intelligence, problem-solving at the edge of the known universe. As the day progressed, the storm cleared completely. Outside, the plain stretched endlessly, silent and frozen. Yet inside the outpost, energy hummed steadily, lights flickering softly over the consoles. It was a safe, small world built by human hands, and now shared with an alien mind. Then a warning tone sounded. Alara froze, her instincts alert. The sensor panels showed movement, multiple readings fast-moving, approaching the outpost. She glanced at Leora. The alien's eyes narrowed. "Not alone," it said simply. Alara's mind raced. Humans were known for thinking quickly under pressure. She activated the perimeter shields and double-checked the locks. "Stay here," she said. "I need to see who or what is coming." Outside, the reading suggested a small fleet of autonomous drones, probably left over from a previous colony's defensive systems. They were programmed to neutralize unknown entities in the sector. Alara knew humans could hand, but she also knew careful planning. The day began quietly, but Alara knew that calm was never permanent in the far reaches of space. Even as sunlight reflected off the frozen plains of Zirili, she felt a tension in the air, a sense that the universe had more challenges to throw at them. Leora moved beside her, studying the repaired energy interface. "Your systems are remarkable," it said softly. "I am learning faster than I anticipated. Yet, I feel danger coming." Alara nodded. Humans had always relied on instinct as well as intelligence. Danger could appear suddenly, but humans thrived because they stayed calm and adapted quickly. "Then we prepare," she said. "The universe doesn't wait, and neither can we." Outside, the wind began to shift. A cosmic storm, unlike any the sensors had recorded, approached with sudden speed. The storm wasn't just strong. It carried electromagnetic pulses capable of shutting down systems, damaging electronics, and leaving the outpost vulnerable. Alara moved to the control console, her fingers flying over the panels. "Shields up, energy converters to maximum, and secure all external conduits," she instructed. Leora mirrored her actions, adjusting the alien components to stabilize the interface. Together they formed a team, human ingenuity complemented by alien precision. The storm hit with full force. The outpost shook as gusts of ionized wind slammed into the reinforced walls. Lights flickered, alarms beeped, and the energy core struggled to maintain balance. Outside, visibility dropped to near zero. "Alara," Leora said, its voice calm yet urgent. "The storm is stronger than your systems are designed to handle. Some sections may fail if we do not act." Ilara's mind raced. She could have panicked, but panic was useless. Humans thrived because they thought clearly in the face of impossible odds. "We'll improvise," she said. "Let's reroute auxiliary power to the shields, bypass the damaged conduits, and reinforce critical nodes. I'll guide you." For hours, they worked tirelessly. The aliens' fingers moved over the human consoles with surprising dexterity, helping to stabilize the energy flow. Alara made quick calculations, rerouted power, and activated emergency protocols. Slowly, the outpost began to withstand the storm. "This is remarkable," Leora said, adjusting a panel. "You think in layers, not lines. You anticipate consequences before they occur. Your species excels in adaptability." Alara allowed herself a small smile, though she did not relax. Humans had always been admired for this quality, the ability to solve problems under pressure, to combine logic with instinct, and to turn adversity into opportunity. As the storm raged, The sensors detected another anomaly, a series of energy surges approaching from the storm's outer edge. Initially, Alara thought it was part of the storm, but the readings were deliberate, controlled. Something or someone was moving toward them. Not natural, she muttered. Leora leaned over the console, scanning the data. Likely another ship or probe, the alien said. Perhaps curious, perhaps hostile. We must be ready. Ilara's mind worked quickly. She recalled human tactics from countless encounters, both in simulations and real missions. We'll use the storm to our advantage, she said. It hides our movements, masks our energy signatures, and slows their approach. We can manipulate the environment without direct confrontation. Together, they devised a plan. Ilara recalibrated the outpost energy emissions, creating false signals to mislead the approaching anomaly. Leora synchronized its alien systems to amplify the effect. They didn't attack. They tricked, redirected, and controlled the flow of energy like a river around rocks. Minutes stretched into hours. The storm continued to batter the outpost, but inside, the team worked with calm determination. Human resilience was evident, paired with alien precision. Each adjustment, each calculated move, showcased humans' unique ability to adapt, survive, and outthink their environment. Finally, the anomaly veered away. The storm continued, but the immediate threat had passed. Ilara leaned back, her hands resting on the console. Sweat streaked her face, but relief shone in her eyes. Leora studied her carefully. You humans are extraordinary, it said. Not just because of technology, but because of thought, instinct, and courage. You survive where others might fail. Ilara nodded. Humans had always faced impossible odds. From ancient Earth conflicts to interstellar exploration, they relied on intellect, creativity, and adaptability. And in this moment, far from home, those qualities had saved them again. The storm began to weaken. Outside, the plains shimmered with melting frost and residual energy from the cosmic currents. Inside, the outpost hummed steadily, lights glowing. With renewed stability, Ilara and Leora exchanged a look of quiet triumph, two very different beings united by purpose and intelligence. You've learned much, Ilara said finally, breaking the silence. But there's more you'll need to know. Surviving the storm is one thing, navigating the universe safely, that's another. You'll need humans to guide you, not just machines. Leora nodded. I see that now. Your species' strength lies not only in equipment but in mind, judgment, and adaptability. I am fortunate to have encountered you. Ilara allowed herself a brief smile. Humans were not perfect, but they were capable of greatness, especially when faced with the unknown. This alien, despite its intelligence, had underestimated the most human quality of all, the ability to remain calm, think clearly, and improvise when survival depended on it. As the storm faded completely, a sense of calm returned to the outpost. Ilara reviewed the systems one last time, ensuring all repairs held. Leora observed, absorbing every detail, every protocol, every choice. It was a silent lesson in human resilience and ingenuity, a lesson that might save its species in the future. For Ilara, the day had proven something she already knew. Humans were extraordinary, not because they were the strongest, fastest, or most advanced, but because they could think, adapt, and act when all odds seemed against them. And that was why humans survived, why they would continue to thrive, no matter how vast or dangerous the universe became. The outpost was quiet again. Outside, Zerali's plains reflected the fading sunlight, beautiful but unforgiving. Inside, two species had learned from each other, and the bond between human ingenuity and alien intelligence had grown stronger. Ilara glanced at Leora. Tomorrow, we continue our work. There's still much to understand, and I believe together, we can achieve it. The alien nodded, eyes gleaming with a newfound respect. I trust you, human, and I am ready. And with that, the outpost settled into a quiet night, both safe and vigilant. a small island of human brilliance standing firm against the unpredictable universe. The calm after the storm lasted only a few hours. Alara had barely finished reviewing the systems when a new alert appeared on the console. Remote sensors had detected a group of alien drones approaching the outpost, different from the first anomaly. They moved fast, scanning for life signs and energy sources. Alara frowned. Humans were not afraid, but they respected danger. These drones were advanced and persistent, likely automated defense units from a nearby colony. She glanced at Leora. "They are different," Leora said, its tone cautious. "They are not friendly. They are programmed to remove unknown elements. Your presence and mine may trigger their response." Alara nodded. "Then we need a plan that uses what humans do best: observation, strategy, and improvisation. We'll outthink them." They quickly analyzed the drone's approach patterns. Unlike brute machines, these units adjusted their paths, calculated energy signatures, and could even anticipate basic defensive tactics. But humans had a different advantage: creativity and adaptability. "Alara," Leora said, "I have a suggestion. High technology can interfere with their sensors, but only partially. Combined with your systems, we may confuse them completely." Alara considered it. Humans often relied on combining resources, thinking outside the obvious solution. She nodded. "Let's do it. But we need layers, redundancy, and a backup plan. The universe is not forgiving." They worked side by side. Alara directed energy flows to create false signals, mimicking empty corridors and decoy energy sources. Leora synchronized its alien technology to distort the drone's sensor readings further. It was not a confrontation, but a mental game, a battle of wits. Hours passed as the drones advanced. Each time they adjusted, humans and the alien recalibrated. It became a dynamic puzzle, one that required constant attention and ingenuity. Alara felt a familiar thrill. Humans thrived in uncertainty, solving problems when others would panic. Finally, the drones slowed, confused by the shifting signals and decoys. They hovered at the edge of the outpost perimeter, scanning desperately for signs of life. Alara saw her chance. She activated a calculated energy pulse, redirecting the drones harmlessly away from the station. Leora's eyes widened. "Incredible. You do not confront with violence, but with thought. You do not rely on force, but on strategy and insight. This is why humans endure." Alara allowed herself a brief smile. Humans had always survived by thinking creatively, turning even desperate situations into opportunities. Their strength was in their minds, not just their machines. As the drones retreated, a sense of calm returned to the lab. Outside, the frozen plains were silent once more. But inside, a new understanding had formed between human and alien. Leora approached Alara, observing her work. "I underestimated your species," it admitted. "You do not merely react. You plan, you adapt, and you teach through example. Even I am learning from you." The next morning, the outpost seemed peaceful. Sunlight sparkled on the frozen plains of Zirali, and for a moment Alara allowed herself to believe the danger had passed. Leora worked beside her at the main console, reviewing the repairs from the previous storm and drone encounter. Both of them were alert but calm. Humans thrived in situations like this. Calm observation, careful planning, and decisive action were their strengths. Then the alarm sounded, a sharp, insistent tone that made Alara's pulse quicken. The sensors indicated a new threat, a fleet of drones approaching rapidly from the far side of the plains. These were different from the first group. Larger, faster, and more advanced, they seemed to anticipate human strategies. "Alara," Leora said, scanning the data. "They are designed to neutralize advanced civilizations. They will not stop until they have cleared the outpost." Alara's mind raced. Humans had faced overwhelming odds before, from natural disasters to hostile forces in the farthest reaches of space. And each time, they survived because they combined observation with ingenuity. She quickly assessed the outpost's defenses: laser grids, energy shields, automated turrets, and environmental systems. Alone, they might not hold against such a coordinated attack. We'll need to think beyond normal defenses, she said, her voice calm but firm. We'll use the environment, the drone's own logic, and the strengths we have. Together, Leora and I can outmaneuver them. They began working immediately. Ilara directed the automated turrets to fire in controlled sequences, creating false patterns that misled the approaching drones. Leora adjusted its alien systems to emit energy signals that mimicked human movements, confusing the intruder's sensors. The first wave of drones approached, scanning methodically. They fired pulses at the outpost, but the energy shields held. Ilara observed their patterns carefully. Humans did not react blindly. They studied, calculated, and adapted. She noticed that the drones adjusted their approach based on predictable algorithms. That predictability was their weakness. Ilara, Leora said, they anticipate direct attacks. We must act unpredictably. Ilara smiled faintly. That was exactly what humans did best. Then we improvise, she replied. We'll make them chase shadows, fire at illusions, and exhaust their systems. Let's turn their strength into a weakness. Over the next hours, they worked seamlessly together. Ilara rerouted power through auxiliary channels to create sudden bursts of light and energy, simulating false positions. Leora synchronized its alien technology to amplify these signals, creating phantom targets across the outpost perimeter. The drones, advanced as they were, struggled to distinguish reality from illusion. One by one, the drones began to falter. They collided with the outpost's barriers or fired at empty spaces, wasting energy. Humans had always excelled in turning chaos into opportunity, and Ilara's strategy exemplified that. But the threat was far from over. A larger drone, a command unit, appeared at the head of the fleet. It moved with precision, calculating the humans' patterns and adjusting the other drones' behavior in real time. It was a formidable opponent, stronger, smarter, and faster than anything they had faced before. Ilara did not panic. Humans were resilient and they thrived under pressure. She adjusted the decoys, luring the command unit into a narrow corridor where the environmental systems could trap it. Leora assisted, enhancing the magnetic fields and energy pulses to disable its mobility. The plan worked. The command drone was caught in the trap, immobilized and harmless. The other drones, without their leader's coordination, began retreating. Slowly but surely, the fleet dispersed, leaving the outpost intact. Leora approached Ilara, eyes wide with admiration. You humans, you think in layers, not lines. You anticipate consequences before they occur and you adapt in real time. This is why your species survives where others might fail. Ilara nodded. Humans had always faced overwhelming odds, not by relying solely on strength, but by combining intelligence, creativity, and calm under pressure. Every disaster, every threat, was a test of ingenuity, and humans thrived because they turned those tests into solutions. The outpost hummed steadily once more. Systems were stable, energy grids functioning at maximum efficiency. Outside, the frozen plains stretched silently under the alien sun, a world that was both beautiful and unforgiving. Inside, human determination and ingenuity had prevailed. Ilara allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction. Humans were not invincible, but they were extraordinary in their ability to endure, adapt, and innovate. Leora, watching quietly, had gained a first-hand understanding of that truth. The alien had arrived seeking help, but it had discovered something far more profound. The mind of a human was the most powerful tool of all. Tomorrow, Ilara said, glancing at the alien. We continue strengthening the outpost. There is always more to learn, more to improve. We cannot predict every challenge, but we can prepare. Leora nodded. I will learn, and I will remember. Your species' methods, your thinking. It is remarkable. I have witnessed courage, intelligence, and adaptability combined. These are lessons I will carry beyond this outpost. Ilara smiled faintly. Humans had always survived because they adapted, because they learned, and because they faced challenges with determination. And in doing so, They inspired others, even alien species, to understand that survival was more than technology or strength. It was thought, strategy, and courage in the face of the unknown. As night fell over the outpost, the systems hummed quietly. The stars reflected off the frozen plains, indifferent to the small struggles below. Yet the humans inside had proven something significant. Intelligence and ingenuity could overcome even the most advanced threats. Ilara stood beside Leora, looking at the calm interior of the outpost. "We survived today," she said, "not because we were stronger, faster, or more advanced, because we thought, adapted, and never gave up. That is what humans do." Leora's eyes glimmered with understanding. "Yes, that is why your species endures. That is why humans are remarkable." The outpost, once a simple research station, had become a symbol, a testament to the strength of human thought and ingenuity. And for Ilara, the victory was not just in defending the station, but in demonstrating the qualities that made humans exceptional across the galaxy: clarity, courage, and the ability to adapt under pressure. The night was quiet, but both knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges. Yet for now, humans had once again proven themselves capable of facing the unknown and emerging victorious, not by chance, but by the very traits that defined their species. The outpost was quiet, deceptively so. The frozen plains of Zirili stretched endlessly under the pale light of a distant sun. But Ilara knew that calm was temporary. The universe rarely allowed humans or aliens a moment of complete peace. Systems hummed steadily, but the sensors detected a strange anomaly approaching, an energy signature unlike anything they had seen before. "Ilara," Leora said, its tone serious, "this is no ordinary threat. It is intelligent. It adapts. It will not stop until it neutralizes every source of energy here." Ilara's mind raced. Humans had survived countless challenges through observation, creativity, and calm focus. She didn't panic. She relied on the qualities that had always kept her species alive: thought, ingenuity, and courage. "We'll face it together," she said firmly. "Observation first, then strategy. We adapt, and we survive." The energy anomaly drew closer, revealing itself as a massive autonomous probe unlike any drone or fleet they had encountered. It pulsed with energy, scanning the outpost, analyzing every signal, every movement. It adjusted its approach as if anticipating their every action. "Ilara, its sensors are faster than ours," Leora observed. "It learns from mistakes in real time. Conventional defenses will fail." Ilara's eyes narrowed. Humans excelled not in raw power, but in creativity. She quickly assessed their options: the outpost's energy shields, environmental traps, auxiliary power flows, and Leora's alien technology. Alone, each might fail. Combined, they could turn the probe's intelligence against itself. "Then we improvise," she said. "We'll use deception, misdirection, and timing. We don't need to destroy it, we just need to outthink it." For the next few hours, humans and alien worked side by side. Ilara rerouted energy to create false pulses across multiple points of the outpost, while Leora amplified the signals to create an illusion of movement. They staggered power surges to confuse the probe's calculations, making it misinterpret patterns and waste energy. The probe advanced cautiously, reacting to each decoy, each phantom signal. But Ilara observed carefully, identifying its algorithmic logic. Humans had always been capable of anticipating patterns, even in complex systems. They used that skill now, predicting the probe's next moves. "Leora," Ilara said, "we need a final trigger, something decisive that will force it to retreat." The alien nodded, understanding immediately. They combined systems once more, an energy pulse timed with a redirection of auxiliary power, amplified through Leora's interface, designed to make the probe believe the entire outpost had been evacuated. The plan worked. The probe halted, hesitated, then retreated, confused by the phantom signals. It pulsed once more, then vanished into the distance. The outpost remained intact. Ilara exhaled slowly, relief flooding her senses. Humans had survived. Yet again, not because they were the strongest, but because they had thought, adapted, and